I'm back with more Dragon Quest VII. I'm with some Italian guy who says go to that place to get Sir Mervyn or get fucked. So yeah, I'm in wedlock. So I gotta do the thing.
Oh.
I was gonna go looking around for items, but they said no. So.
Oh.
Meh.
Ah.
Oh.
Oh.
Yoink. Bill. Cool. Trying to find if there's a mini medal here or not. Nope. Blah. Okay, this is disconcerting. There's also nothing here, so fuck it. That's too bad. Blah. Blah. Dang it. Nothing here. Dang it. Watch, I'm gonna fail and I'm gonna forget and then it's gonna be a pain in the ass. Oh well. Alright, I'll leave. Huh? Hello. Come on, Brooke. Put your back into it. Pull.
Okay.
I'm trying, Professor. Oh, then, what do we have here? Fragment of stone tablet. It's very old indeed. But this isn't what we're interested in. It's fish we're after. Fish! Try again! Yes, Professor Wade. How about this one? Let me see. Yes. Yes, that's it. This genus of fish is usually only found in the coastal waters. Huh? Does it mean? It certainly does, my dear Brooke. There's conclusive proof that this region was once entirely covered in seawater. So the legends are true? The cataclysm really did happen? Now, young Brooke, we mustn't jump to conclusions. We still can't be certain that was the case. Nevertheless, this is a significant development. We should now be ready to proceed to the next stage of our research. Okay, Professor Wade. Hello? Gimme! Huh? What can I do for you? I'm rather busy at the moment. Would you like me to give you that stone fragment? Very well, but I have to ask you a little favor in return. Complete the errand to my satisfaction. I shall gladly hand over this piece of stone. Come see me when you'd like to take up my little offer. You look like sturdy sorts. You have no doubt you are more than capable. Professor Wade, you sure you don't mean to make these strangers Him! Excellent! If that's all, we'll be seeing you shortly. Get in the door! Damn it. Goodness! Do you know, I don't believe I've actually introduced myself. My name's Wade. Young chap here is Brooke. He's my assistant. Nice to meet you. And how about yourself? A very fine name indeed. Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, let's move to the matter at hand, shall we? We've been doing some research on the legend of the Great Flood and Old Man Riffle. Most people are sure the whole thing is entirely fabricated, but I have reason to believe this is not the case. Indeed, my main purpose of my current research is to attempt to prove this hypothesis. As yet, however, I do not have sufficient materials, which is where you come in. The thing is, you see, I'm rather convinced that the tower to the north of this town is an important connection to the legend. Unfortunately, the place is chock full of horrible monsters, and going there myself is out of the question. As I mentioned before, you and your friends seem like battle-hardened young folk. So I was wondering if you might be so good as to lend your talents to drive the monster infestation out of the tower for good. Help me out, I'll gladly reward you with that fragment you're so interested in. What do you say? Will you rid high and dry tower? You will? How wonderful! That's good news, isn't it? Excellent news. Well, we'll be waiting for your triumphant return. Well, hopefully we can do this in the same span of the thing I'm supposed to do. Yes, infestation. Yeah. Well, hey. Sorry I keep doing things that I'm not supposed to be doing, game, but you gave me this option, so I'm doing it. Well, fuck. Damn it.
Oh.
Alright, fine. No! Well, the sooner I get this old guy out of, or this Italian dude out of my party, the sooner I can do other things.
Hey!
Well, I definitely ain't it.
Sure.
I don't know where I'm going. Game won't tell me. Emberdale. I don't want to be here.
Sure.
Damn it! Pressing the wrong buttons. It's the up button. Get. Okay, this is Albalad. So it's probably not here. Stupid mountains. Not accommodating to a magic carpet at all.
Oh.
Okay. Dang it. I don't know where I'm going. Well, at least I get that, I guess. Never hurts to have stuff. Okay, so just keep trying. No, I've been here. Ah, dog. Actually,
Oh.
Damn it! So use that button. No. It's the A button. Okay. There. No. Greetings! I, King Maximo, have an undiminishable passion for mini-maps, which are scattered hither and thither around the world. down to the first order of business. And I have your name. I see you have availed yourself of the metal album already. I see bright things in your future. Bright things indeed. But what's this? The records within appear minimums, at least. A moment. Aha. There we are. I filled in the missing bits for you. With that, you'll have the whole picture, whenever you care to look inside. Some wish to maximize the size of their armies or dominions. Me, all I desire are mini-metals. Bring them to me, and I shall administer the most magical of gifts. I have high hopes for you. Well, at least now I know that's a place. Bam, 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 bam. This looks like the biggest tower in the world. Excuse me, the tallest tower in the whole wide world.
Sure.
Damn it! I'm not used to pressing buttons. I'm not used to pressing diagonal buttons and directional buttons to do everything. Ah! Fine. So I gotta press the up button to do the thing, and then I'm gonna press the A button to get... Ah! Anyway. So if you're wondering why I keep screwing that up, it's because of that. The tallest tower. Hello! Yeah. So there's not... I think there's like 9 levels to this. I don't have a plan for a dungeon rant. So I think I'll keep going with the... I didn't finish my discussion on the characters of like 8 and 11. So I think I'll go with that. No! Nah. Buttons. At least when I'm available. Santo Cielo! Santo Cielo! The sizzling storm is growing very hot. Hey, open door. Ooh. Never before have I felt such heat from the sizzling storm. Never have I seen such light. It's clear what this means, yes? We are getting closer to finding what we're looking for, see? But yes, 8 is probably like the first game where the characters actually were kind of neat. And funny enough, they're not a lot of them. No! There weren't a whole lot. There was only 4 party members in the entire group. 6 if you count the remaster. So, not a whole lot I can do with the main character because he's the main character. But we'll start with Yangus. Because Yangus' whole thing was he's a friend of Gov. Cold blimey! Big old monster troll looking guy, but a heart of gold. I love Yangus, he's great. I think his whole thing was like the thief trying to turn over a new leaf And mainly because the main guy saved him from falling into a river or falling off a cliff, right? When he didn't have to, because he threatened him on a bridge, and then he was like, "Nah, I think I'll save your life." Ah, shit! I don't have heals. Wait, yes, I do. There we go. But Yangus spending a good chunk of the game basically being like, if you're in a seedy location or a terrible location, like, he knows his way around any treasure or any cool story or cool stuff like that. So having him as kind of a linchpin of the seedier side of things. I also love that he's not against just up and fighting dudes in a pub. He just fights dudes in a pub for fun. So he did. Ow! Ow! He does get his dramatic moments, though, which is good. And I think that's important because you don't have the main character to talk. So he's kind of the de facto main character of, like, what the main character's thinking and saying. Ooh, Dream Magic and Blunt. Yay! Ooh, Master Shepherd. Lampede. And oh! Ooh, nice. Oh my god, we're getting everything. Man, we're getting everything.
Sure.
Yay! Okay. Let's move on to Sailor. Ooh! Bish bash bosh. But yeah, Yangus fills the role a lot like King Trode does. Because again, the main character is only going to speak so much. But he does enough, I think. Jessica, I find, is probably the best of the three other characters in the party. Magical mending. Well, I'm not a priest anymore. And her story is a lot like Kiefer in a way, but more abrasive. Like, I don't want to be part of this stupid mess. I want to find somebody. I want to figure out what happened, and I don't want to be chained down to life. You know, bullshit like that. And her early stuff is just a bunch of like, well, I don't care who you are. You're a bunch of people. And then you get to hear her softer sides and stuff, and it's kind of really neat. Like, you can play her like femme fatale-ish, but it's not really a strong suit. Which is weird because you can objectify her if you want. Like, one of her skill sets is sex appeal, and like, I barely use it for that. I mainly just use it for like hustle dance. I don't use it for the sex appeal part because why? You know? But she's kind of like Maribel if she didn't suck. at first. Because he actually has moments of, alright, I know you're trying to be helpful. Like, I want to help you out. I can be useful without being showy about it. So Jessica she's driven to doing things her way and only her way. But also doing it in a less frustrating, less annoying sort of way, if that makes any sense. Because again, like, you could just have her be pure sex appeal, and I do think the game, like, that was the one I remember where, like, the outfits can change, and you could put her in, like, skimpy dancer stuff, or a bunny outfit, or whatever, and it can work, but she never comes across as somebody who just uses it to use it. Okay, I need to go back down, because I'm not getting... And again, I think her story, like, her story arc kind of ends as early as you get her. She's a lot like, I would say Freya from Final Fantasy IX in that sense. Like, she's important, but only important enough. No, no, no! But again, she doesn't get on my nerves.
Here I come.
And it's very important to have characters like that, because you have to contrast, you know, like, to Jessica is to, like, Maribel and Veronica, right? Jessica is nowhere near on that spectrum of, you're just a bitch and I hate you, you're stupid, you know? Even in a playful sense. Ah, crap. And then there's Angelo, who kind of fits right alongside Yangus as the, not nearly as obvious the scamp of the group, because I think his story is quite neat, because growing up as a person who was pretty much downtrodden because of his family circumstances, and then finding out that, oh, you're the actual son or the actual brother, and you're my half brother, like, of Marcello, and Marcello is just like,
Are you all right?
I'm supposed to be the best, and you're going to ruin my chances of of advancement in the world because you exist. Again, it's hard. I'm having a hard time explaining the characters if you haven't played those games yet. And also focusing on fights. But I mean, Angelo has his moments of being a seedy kind of jerk and a womanizer. But you realize quite quickly it's mostly just a coping mechanism. A lot of his story does have to revolve around Marcello being angsty against him. Reduces the spell res- Ooh. Seed of Sorcery. Magical Might. Sure. So you have those characters and you add, like, they're pretty much the entire game. Unlike this one where they exist on way... Like, my biggest problem with this game is Aisha and Mervyn, you get them kind of late. Yangus, Jessica, and Angelo pretty much join from the beginning and stay to the end. So you get them as your party and they stay your party for good. And it's important because it builds the camaraderie a bit more. And since they're the only characters in the party, like, the remake gives you Red and Mori, who were, like, side characters in the original. And they're neat in battle, but they don't offer much in story. So they're kind of like Yuffie or Vincent in Final Fantasy VII. Like, they don't actually matter much. You know enough about them, but you don't really. As opposed to the remake, which is going to make a big deal out of them. So Mori and Red are side characters that kind of just get added to the party later. And that's neat, and they do neat things, but they're not really necessary. Which is a bit of a disappointment because I do honestly like bigger... If I'm given the choice, I like having a bigger cast. I like having a bigger cast because that gives me more choices. Ow. Ow. Because if I don't like a character, you know, like a Maribel, it's tough for me to want to use them. And... Yay! Like, if I didn't like Yangus, Angelo, or Jessica, and I'm stuck with them the entire game, it feels kind of like, ew, I'm stuck with you? And again, I don't hate them any like I do Maribel. Like, Maribel is just obnoxious. The fact that she's been in the game for so long and won't leave until Mervyn is secure, that's partly frustrating, I think.
Yeah.
Ow. Well, at least you killed yourself. Hooray! And then Divine Intervention. Tingle. Okay.
That is
Yay! And then when you get to, like, 11, I like that they have more options. Because, especially with 8 and 11, there's the, skill tree board.
Let's go.
And the skill tree offers versatility that you wouldn't really have in a game like this one, where you have vocations, but you're stuck in vocations, I think. Like, there is versatility, but with less characters, it's harder to kind of get a gauge for what you can and can't do with characters.
All in a day's work.
But I mean, 11 having more characters is huge. And Caprice is good.
Sure.
Because that means, like, if I want to try something different with the same character that I liked before, I can. With this, you're kind of stuck getting the same end game. So, yeah, you're getting something, but really you're not. Yeah, Jester sounds like something she would do. But I mean, you have Eric, who... I mean, basic thief, dude. He really doesn't shine until, like, late in the game, I think. That's the one drawback. Is he's, like, the de facto main character. Other than Jade and Rab, but... he doesn't really have a story until, like, the second act. He just kind of exists as a guide of, oh, I'm doing a thing, I'm helping you out, I'm doing, you know... It's all good, but he doesn't do much, if that makes any sense. Which is annoying because I want to like him. No. Wow. Seriously? That's what we're doing here, pratfall. Causes the user to start... What? Oh. Which evades physical attacks and... Oh, that's neat. Ow! Fuck. But again, until you get, like, really late in the game, Eric's story doesn't really shine much. And he, as a person, is just kind of... Well, this is kind of stupid. Well, we just gotta do what we gotta do, I guess. So, we just go around and win and whatever. So he's the nice guy, but he's, like, he's the good thief, you know? He's trying to be Yangus in his own way, but eh. Veronica and Serena, like, you can't... Like, Veronica is what Maribel should be. Driven and awesome without being overly obnoxious and actually, you know, having a set mission in life. And her moments of being annoying are less annoying. You know, Serena, there's not much to Serena other than being Veronica's sister, but that's what the game wants you to be. Realistically, like... I think Serena is just normal. Normal, happy-go-lucky, nice person, little dopey, but, you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Strike him down!
You know, you need the slightly dopey, but still normal people every once in a while to balance out the party. And remember, you can't have two Veronicas. God, no. Imagine if they were the same person. It would get frustrating really quick. And the growth that Serena gets, mostly via what Act 2 does, like, it's fine. I'm not saying she's going to win any awards, but I think you do need that kind of, like, wholesome character. You know, the Haru kind of situation where there's nothing wrong with them. But they're just nice and easy to deal with.
Excellent.
And then, you have Sylvando! And, my god, if Sylvando isn't the best character in the entire franchise, I can't tell who would be. Like, if anybody hasn't played Dragon Quest XI before this, like, my god. Like, you're playing it for Sylvando. You're... Like, he is the life of the party. And he's great at it. because he knows what he knows. And he's like the one time like a character archetype, like I was expecting him to drive me insane, because those characters in early like JRPGs and even like to the 2010s, like I made this discussion with .hack GU. Like Sylvando would have been Hiragi if he was a one-note joke, but Dragon Quest XI was smart and said, no, he's not a gay stereotype. He flourishes in that role a lot, but he dodges a lot of the problem by being multi-layered and not just a gag. Because his entire introduction is, I'm smarter and stronger than you think, and I'm also more committed to everything. And you don't really know like what Sylvando's gonna do, but his whole motivation of like using his gifts as a jester and as a knight to bring smiles to the world that has basically been shit on. Oh man, I'm killing him now. Good. Is great. It's great having somebody that committed, but also not just completely against type. You know, because he plays around with the stereotypes a bit more. I'm not done talking about Raid and Rab and Jade yet, so, and there's Hendrik. I'll have to remember that next time. Hopefully I do remember that, because we're not done. And then I'll tie it back around to these characters, I think, too, because we're getting Mervyn, so I could tie it to him, I suppose. I just wonder if I'm going to remember. So if I remember to finish my talk on the characters of Dragon Quest XI, I will. But hey, I got my way to here, and I did the thing, so I'm happy. And now I'm starting to beat up dudes. So that's even better. So hopefully, you know, I could go into more detail, but, you know, there's only so much time in a day, and I imagine people being Dragon Quest fans probably have played those games. But if you haven't, maybe it's a primer for, like, knowing what characters they are, if nothing else. Without being too spoilerific, I suppose. But anyway, maybe I'll continue this discussion because we're still about 5 levels to go, so I gotta get moving. I'll see you next time.